guys, it's Aoife from Words of Clover and I'm here to do a book tag today. I wanted to do the quarter year crisis book tag, and this was created by Roisin over at Roisin's Reading. I wasn't tagged by anyone, but I just thought this was a really fun tag and such a great time of the year to do this tag. I wanted to get it filmed before it was too late, and I'll get straight on into the question. So the first question is, how many books have you read this year? So to date when I'm filming this today, I have read 47 books. I'm really happy with that. I just set my Goodreads goal, my reading challenges on Storygraph to 100 books, which I know is very doable for me with the speed that I read and the normal amount of books I read a week or a month. So yeah, I don't really have any pressure on myself in terms of my reading goal. I kind of took that pressure away, I think it was last year when I just set it to 100, and maybe when I get to 100 I might put it up a little bit, but I don't know, I'm not too fussed about it, and yeah, I'm really happy with the speed of my reading and the amount of books I've read. Second question is, have you already found a book you think might be a 2022 favourite? If not, what was your favourite book you read that wasn't quite a 5-star? I have 2 books that I just keep thinking about, and ones that I think will stand the test of time when it comes to the end of the year when I'm thinking about my favourite books, and I'm really happy the fact that both of them are Irish books and by Irish female authors as well. So the first book is Snowflake by Louise Nealon, which I listened to an audiobook at the start of this year, and I absolutely loved this one. This is about a girl called Debbie. She's only 18 and she is just starting her kind of college life in Dublin. She's commuting every day from her family's dairy farm in Kildare into Dublin, and she's kind of finding it really hard to adjust to this life in, like, you know, this city that she doesn't really know that well. She's a little bit socially awkward, so she finds it really hard to make friends, and then as she does start going out, she develops like a kind of a slightly unhealthy relationship with alcohol and sex as well, and we see her struggle with all of that, and then also be going through stuff within her own family. There is mental health exploration in this as well, and it was just really good. And then the second book that I absolutely loved this year I read during the Irish Readathon, and that was Trespasses by Louise Kennedy, and this one is set in 1975 Belfast, and we are following a young teacher. Her name is Cushla, and we see her as she strikes up a relationship and starts having an affair with this married Protestant man, and she herself is Catholic. So at the time like that this is all happening, obviously the troubles are like really bad, and we're seeing the kind of the daily violence and the fear that Cushla and a lot of like her neighbours and the people that she has grown up with are like dealing with, while also we are seeing this relationship that is completely kind of taking her over in a way, and we see the love that they share, and then also we know that it's never going to end very well because he is married, he's Protestant, nothing about this relationship will turn out good for Cushla, so we're just kind of following this along, and I just absolutely love this one. It was just so striking, so atmospheric. I just loved all the emotions in it, and yeah, I think this is going to be a really top read, and I think a lot of people are going to be raving about this book by the end of the year, I hope. The next question is any 1-star or least favourite books of the year. That's definitely Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, which I read in January, I think, and this is a book that my friend had gotten for me as part of like a 12 books that she's wrapped up, and I'm unwrapping each one every month and reading them bit by bit, and I was kind of like excited to see what I would think of a Colleen Hoover book when I unwrapped this one, because I have heard a lot about her, but you know, I haven't read her yet, and I really just don't see the hype with her. I just thought this was really poorly written. I felt like there was no surprises. Everything was really obvious. There were things that were genuinely so painful to read because it was written so badly. I just could not understand why anyone would ever like this book or this author, and it's definitely put me off reading any more Colleen Hoover because yeah, I just thought her writing was so basic and so terrible that yeah, it was definitely a 1-star book for me. The next question is my most read genre so far. So according to Storygraph, my most read genre is contemporary fiction, which is about 15 books, and then following that it is literary fiction and historical fiction, and yeah, that definitely seems to add up with what I thought. I've definitely been really enjoying picking up more literary fiction this year. I really feel like, I might talk about it in another video, I don't know, but I really feel that like lately that my reading taste has developed and changed slightly. I'm still reading fantasy, I still enjoy fantasy and sci-fi, but I've definitely moved away from them the last few years, and I definitely seem to be veering more towards more literary fiction, and I've always loved historical fiction as well, but yeah, it definitely seems to be the ones that I'm really excited to pick up is on the more literary genre. Next question is a book that surprised you. So I have 2 for this. One of them is Breast and Eggs, and this one is a translated fiction. It's set in Japan. It was originally written in Japanese, and I just was surprised at how much I loved Miyeko's writing, and she's a writer now that I want to read everything that she's written because I just really liked the style of writing in this one, and it was just a really pleasant surprise surprised that this book I picked up because of the Found in Translation Book Club ended up being such a win for me. And then another book I recently read was Freckles by Cecilia Ahern, and I honestly think I went into this one with a slightly snobby attitude, that I was thought this was just going to be like, you know, really simple contemporary fiction and it was going to be fine, but it wasn't going to be anything great. And then I borderline was like in tears by the end of this book because there were just some really emotional scenes that hit me like so much, and it really made me like, you know, swallow my pride a little bit and be like, this was actually a really good book for me, and I really enjoyed it. And I don't know whether it was just the right book at the right time, but yeah, there was just something about it that I just really enjoyed. I think there was a really lovely father-daughter relationship which I enjoyed, and there were some really emotional bits about like finding yourself and understanding yourself and accepting yourself that I just thought were lovely. And yeah, I wouldn't say it was like the best book in the world, but it definitely like touched me and hit me in a way that I really wasn't expecting it to, so it definitely surprised me. What's a book that's come out in 2022 already that you want to read but haven't read yet? For me, it's kind of like all of them on my TBR, like all the books that have come out that I've requested that are still kind of there from like January, February that I just haven't quite gotten around to yet. I always have so many great intentions of reading all these books that are piling up, and I just don't always quite get to all of them. So yeah, and there's a lot of them. One I've heard a lot about though is The Maid, and that's one I have that I got from Pan Macmillan there around Christmas time, and it's definitely one that I want to pick up soon because I've read some really great reviews of it. Next question is one goal that you're succeeding at. I definitely think this is translated fiction. That was a goal at the start of this year, and why I joined the Found in Translation Book Club was I wanted to read more translated fiction. I want to read books that are set in more places than just like the UK and the States, which I find a lot of books tend to be. I really enjoy reading about other cultures, about reading other experiences, and I think translated fiction is a really great way of doing this, and I've really enjoyed finding books that are translated this year. I really enjoyed reading, and I've really enjoyed the stories and just a look at different cultures, as I said. And I was even able to find a book during the Irish Readathon that was translated from Irish, which I really enjoyed being able to do. What is one goal you made that you need to focus on? I think one of my goals I always have is just to kind of get my act together when it comes to like NetGalley and ARCs, particularly digital ARCs, because I have so many piled up from NetGalley, and yeah, it's really embarrassing at this stage like how far back it is. I think in terms of my review rate, I think it's about 61%, and it definitely needs to be up a lot more. So yeah, I definitely need to get on with that and try and read a lot more. I really used the Buzzwordathon last year and this year to try and read some of the backlist books on my NetGalley like ARC list, and that's definitely helping a little bit, but I need to get a little bit better. And then the last question is new to you booktubers, bookstagrammers, book talkers for 2022 you recommend. I don't really like, I don't have TikTok, I refuse to get it because I know I will just get obsessed with it and I won't stop watching it. So I don't know any book talkers. Bookstagrammers I don't follow that much either, so obviously I'll be talking about booktubers. One booktuber I have loved finding is Lisa and Bookland. This is another Irish booktuber. She was really supportive of the Irish Readathon, but she also posted some really lovely videos during the Irish Readathon and since the start of this year. She reads a lot of historical fiction, and I've really loved seeing some of the books that she talks about, some books that I have heard very few people talk about. So if you really like books, you know, like secondhand books, thrifted books, books that like not everyone on BookTube is talking about, some real like surprises, I would definitely check Lisa's channel out because she is absolutely lovely and her content is great. And then another booktuber I have absolutely been loving is Anna from Anna Wallace Johnson. I've just been really loving her, like her content, her vlogs in particular. She just has a really amazing vlog style. I think she just has a really lovely personality that shines through so much in her videos. She's so much fun and just bright and sparky to watch, and some of the books she reads again are books that I see very few people talk about and read, and yeah, I'm always finding like out about some really interesting books from her channel, so I would 100% check her out because she's absolutely brilliant. So that is everything for this tag. I'm not going to tag anyone because I'm just going to do what I did. So if you are really interested in this tag, you like the questions, please go ahead. I tag you, I guess. I'd love to know people's answers to these questions down below. What is your favourite book been so far this year? What is your least favourite book? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.